Hi there, my name is Suze and I'm a Divine Feminine Energy Healer and Guide. Today I want to go a little bit further into a conversation that I have recently started, and thank you so much to those of you who have reached out to me. I've had some people reach out to me, give me feedback on various different social media platforms, really appreciating this message that I have really been going into around emotional stability and a lot of like the divine feminine emotional body type stuff of the aspect of our human existence, the emotional body, emotions, how to work with our emotions instead of working against our emotions, how to embrace our emotions as opposed to other things we could be doing with our emotions. And I've been having a lot of in-depth conversations with people lately. And so a lot of these videos that I'm putting out are in response to some in-depth conversations I have been having with people in my existence on the path that I'm on, that is really showing me some amazing contrast and showing me where collective consciousness around emotions needs a little help and support. Let's just say it that way, and some clarity. And emotions and energy is something I have been working in the realm of that world for many, many, many years. And I have painstakingly slowed my life down to be able to really zero in on energy and emotions and really experiment in my own personal life to see how to use these really powerful energies in a very self-empowering way, and also in a way to create lives that feel very fulfilling and satisfying on a deeply emotional and intimate level. I hope all that makes sense. And so the thing I want to talk about today, again, stepping into the idea of emotional stability and also combining that with intimacy in relationships, and how the feminine energy always wants to go deeper into intimacy and connection. The feminine energy always wants more when it comes to connection and intimacy. And so obviously emotional stability is a huge part of that, because if emotional stability is, first of all, if the definition of emotional stability is different between two human beings, there's going to be some serious problems there. Watch my video on emotional stability is not ... That was kind of step one on this conversation. Understanding that if we have different ideas or concepts or definitions in our heads of what emotional stability is, that right there is going to be a huge... My cat is coming around, so if you see a little kitty, oh, there she is, right, right here. If we have different definitions or concepts or ideas of what emotional stability is in our intimate relationships and partnerships, that right there is going to be a huge roadblock for the feminine aspect, having the depth of intimacy and connection that her heart is really, really craving. But going beyond that, there's another thing that we have to acknowledge. And this is something that can be particularly a stumbling block for anyone who has a very strong religious upbringing or has come out of a lot of very religious, very traditional value kind of things instilled in them. If you've come from that background, much like myself, and you have really stepped into an arena of really opening your heart and your mind to understand people and their journeys better, to understand life from a non-resistant, non-judgmental place to the best of your ability, if that really is the path that you are on, then the concept I'm going to bring today about two truths can be possible at the same time. Two truths can exist at the same time. This is like kind of taking compassion and understanding to another level. I'm going to be honest with you guys right now. I feel like I'm taking a roundabout approach to saying what I want to say today, and I apologize for that. This is where I'm at today. I'm just keeping it real. Two truths can exist at the same time, and this was something that for me was a very hard thing to really truly grasp. I just saw 444 on my timer, so I'll take that as a sign to keep going. Two truths can exist at the same time. This is particularly important in the realm of energies if you're really studying and learning how to balance your own inner masculine, inner feminine energies. Because the masculine energy, pure masculine energy, may hold a truth that may appear to be contradictory to feminine, pure feminine energy. Because that is the nature of polarity, is it not? We need both ends to find the balance in the middle. We need to understand both sides of the story to collaborate, bring those two stories together into an agreement to move forward. I spoke about that on another video the other day about the biggest killer of intimacy, right? We have to understand both sides to be able to collaborate. And it is in collaboration, it is in the integration of both the masculine and the feminine that we find the collaboration, we find the understanding, and that is what creates deeper connection, deeper intimacy, and fulfillment, particularly for the feminine energy. So this is also something that I see in relationships when I am working with clients and I'm really trying to help women understand the masculine aspect and having a different perspective on the masculine aspect and how maybe we are misunderstanding their intentions or where they're coming from or how they see a particular situation. And so if I'm able to shed some light for my clients on masculine energy and how in some aspects how different, how polarized it is from the feminine, and that doesn't mean that it's necessarily wrong. Again, I'm referencing another video I did a couple weeks ago. What if he's not doing anything wrong? Highly recommend that video. What if he's not doing anything wrong? You know, it's this idea. I'm really loving the word collaboration and understanding these days. Collaboration and understanding. We can't have collaboration, which is unity consciousness, really. We can't have the collaboration until we have understanding first. So understanding, then backing that up another step. Understanding is simply acknowledging the fact that two truths can exist at the same time. Now, what I'm saying also relationally, what I'm saying here is that if you have two different human beings, not only are we dealing with potentially someone in the more masculine aspect and someone more in the feminine aspect, and so there's a clashing in the middle of not understanding the differences there, but then even in our personal lives, our personal life journeys, our personal life experiences, two people having two very different life experiences, therefore looking at a thing in the middle with two very different sets of glasses or filters is going to add another component of confusion and non-collaboration, judgment, and resistance. So the more that we understand two truths can exist at the same time, there is no one absolute truth in conflict or in intimacy, in partnerships until you come to an agreement about your truth collectively, right? But in the beginning of a conflict, in the beginning of a problem, let's say, or two people clashing in some way, there has to be an acknowledgement of the overarching idea that two truths can exist at the same time. So then it becomes a matter of, okay, let's both see what the two truths are that are seeming to contradict each other, but are actually just creating polarity. Now, this brings me to another step of something that I've recently come to the realization about. One of my favorite books ever that I have read is The Untethered Soul. I read that book many, many years ago. I've read it a few times, but the first time I read it was many years ago. Michael Singer is the author, The Untethered Soul. In that book, there was a concept that he presented that I talk about a lot, and that is the idea of the pendulum, right? The human existence is all about, we have this tendency to swing the pendulum from one extreme to the other, right? Because if you're over here, let's say on this side, and you have some kind of a life experience in that moment that is very painful to you and that you don't like, the human survival instinct is to run away from pain, right? Avoid pain at all costs. Avoid pain and suffering at all costs. So the human tendency is to then swing the pendulum to the other extreme to get as far away, far removed from the pain as possible. But what you're not fully comprehending in that human weakness is that there's going to be pain over here too because it's too extreme. But for a lot of us humans, myself included, we like to learn the hard way, right? And for a lot of us, we don't want to just have someone tell us something and then be like, oh, okay. For a lot of us, we kind of want to prove it on our own, or we're very stubborn. Maybe you're a fixed sign in astrology, I don't know. Or maybe in human design, like me, you are a 3-5 profile, which is someone who loves to experiment in their life, likes to learn things through your own experiment, and you love to feel like a mad scientist of being like, ooh, I figured this energy out, so let's see what happens when I add this to the mix of this concoction this magical potion that I'm trying to create, right? That's me. It's also my best friend. It's why we get along. So the human existence, back to that, tends to be this like pendulum of swinging from one extreme to the other, and that may appear to be not a great thing, but when you experience two completely opposite ends of the spectrum, I just saw 1111. When you experience two completely opposite ends of the spectrum, you are able to very precisely and clearly know, because you have experienced it, you can know where your balance is, your middle ground is. And sometimes for a lot of us, we have to learn the hard way of trying both extremes to find where our middle is, to find where our balance is, because it is very unique person to person. So can we maybe adopt that same mindset, let's say, and take that in the realm of our intimate relationships, partnerships, connections, whatever you want to call it, and recognize maybe it's two people on two ends of the pendulum. Maybe that's what's happening here. So there's nothing wrong. There are two truths that two people are hanging on to because of painful life experiences they've had. They've created these truths in their heads of what is and what is not, right? And if we understand that this is just pain speaking, how can we meet in the middle then is the question, and find a collaborative truth, collaborative understanding. And from there, create an agreement. Okay, this is how you feel and this is what you think. Okay, this is how you feel, this is what you think. How can we support each other and meet in the middle, come to a verbal agreement, and then move forward in that path? To me, that is the most beautiful example of real, true intimacy and connection. And that is something that will really, truly, deeply fulfill and satisfy the heart and the soul of the feminine. And it brings people clearly, obviously, together because both parties feel understood. That was basically my entire point of that video, the biggest killer of intimacy. Or the biggest evil, did I say? The biggest evil in intimacy is what I called that, was misunderstanding. Everything is just a misunderstanding. What if nothing is actually wrong? What if the only thing that's wrong is misunderstanding? What if? And if we understand that's true, then you can take it that step deeper of understanding two truths can exist at the same time. Hang on 1 second, please. And that was something that really took me a long, hard path to get to in my journey with energetics, is understanding that masculine and feminine energies can coexist at the same time in your own self even. That was something that was very hard for me to understand how to embody within myself, like observing myself, observing my inner masculine and feminine. It was very hard for me to understand how I could integrate and collaborate and in any moment in time be in both my masculine and feminine energies at the same time. And I really truly do feel that until I was able to click that into place with myself of harmonizing, integrating, allowing both to be at the same time, I wasn't able to understand how to do that externally in relationships, partnerships outside of myself. So to close this up, thank you so much for being here. If you're still here, I know I've had a lot to say today. Two truths can exist at the same time. The question is, in relationships, in connections, can we both slow down, open up, and listen to each other to hear the two truths that are existing at the same time, and then find a way to meet in the middle, collaborate, and support each other through, walk each other through the process of melding those two in together? I hope this video helped. If you did find value here, please do subscribe, like, and drop a comment. I really appreciate the comments for those of you who let me know what really helped, what resonated, what added value here. A mantra, I'll tell you guys right here, a mantra that I always come into these videos with: when I speak, I add value. So it's very helpful to me if in the comments anyone lets me know what in particular did I say that added value for you today. That's very helpful for me. Thank you so much for being here, contributing your energy, and for listening to my words. I'm sending so much love and comfort and peace to you all. Have a beautiful rest of your day.